Hello, social media friends. I'm Viridiana Marquez with DRB Media Communications Digital News, and Danny Barrera has the story.
On Sunday, July 17th, officials with the West Texas Warbirds held a press conference at the Ector County Coliseum to respond to the fight that broke out between Dallas Prime and the West Texas Warbirds Saturday night, July 16th, at the end of the game.
What happened at the conclusion of last night's game was embarrassing, regrettable, and inexcusable. Regardless of anything said going forward, we do want to apologize to the people of Odessa for what they witnessed last night, and the people of the Permian Basin as well. This incident is not indicative of how our organization operates. We are confident, though, that after all appropriate investigations are completed, details will be better known.
We will be going forward from this point in investigation as to what happened. We're working with the Coliseum and with the Sheriff's Department and Odessa Police as needed to get an investigation what happened, identify any gaps that might be between the organizations, how we can better work together, and then implement corrective actions as such. Now, knowing that we are going forward with the incident and doing investigations, at this point there is very, very little that we can tell you as to exactly any exact things from last night. It'll be part of the investigation. More will be coming out at a later date when the three organizations get a chance to get together and talk a little bit further.
So what we can tell you is only factual matters. The game is on video, and people can go on our Facebook Live, look at the video, and interpret kind of for themselves at this moment as to how they feel it escalated. I'm not going to make inflammatory statements about anybody else, but everybody else can interpret how they feel that it started at this point. Well, trash talk's part of the game, right? It's a matter of when it spills over into really what happened last night, prime example. But as far as security measures goes, we spent this morning looking at how we can change things around, whether it's making more direct access to the locker rooms of the teams instead of having to cross over. Also cutting off access to the fans to that area. We've already discussed moving platforms, just really having that separation of fans and players, whether it's home team or away team, especially during the gameplay. The contact from the team did reach out to me last night. Afterwards, I can only tell you what he said to me is that he wishes that the conclusion did not happen that way. He would have changed it if he could. But as far as my reply, I have not replied to that team. At this point, with investigations ongoing, it is not in our best interest to reply to that team and have dialogue with them. Yeah, as Mike said, there is an open investigation right now. Again, we can only be factual. I don't know of any Warbirds players or coaches that are under investigation, but at the same time, I don't know of any of the Prime players that are as well at this time. Like I said, as the investigation moves further, details will come out and we will release. What we can say is that, again, we are fully cooperating with all law enforcement, with the Coliseum, any county and city officials. We are in constant contact with our legal team. They are aware of the incident. It's all over. They're fans of ours on Facebook. So they did reach out last night, said that we'll cross any paths that we need to, but as of right now, our legal team has not made of any mention of anything of that sort.
The main thing was get both teams off the field into their locker rooms,
yes,
respective locker rooms, and make sure that the cut down as much fan interaction as possible.
Yeah.
We didn't want that to happen. So any place that we could, we put ourselves between the fans and any of the players, and then try to get the players towards their own locker rooms.
You never go into a professional setting thinking that anything like this is ever going to happen. It's the same thing when NFL brawls, pop off on the sidelines. You never plan for this because you expect people to act in a professional manner when they come to a professional setting. But at the same time, whenever it does happen, you hope that cooler heads prevail. Last night, finally, cooler heads did prevail. I'm not going to necessarily go off script, but I'm going to say I'm extraordinarily proud of my team and how they handled themselves throughout the issue. Now there is a look. Y'all are going to ask the question. I'm just going to address the elephant in the room of the chair being swung. It's all over the place. That's the video that's all over the place, right? In no way, shape, or form is that person associated with the Warbirds. They are not staff. They are not coach. They are not a player. Okay? I want to make that 100% clear. And we are cooperating when information is asked of us regarding that.
That's the glory of it. You know, the organization's still all together. You can tell they defended themselves. They're all brothers here at the end of the day. So I think it speaks for itself with them still being here, you know, regarding last night's incident. So.
How is the Ector County Sheriff's Office, if they're investigating, what's their scope of the investigation?
We have had very 30,000 foot level interactions with the Ector County Sheriff's Office at this moment. They've gotten statements from our players, their players, fans, our staff, everybody. So we're not even in the infant stages. We're at the newborn stages of this. So where it goes from here is still all very fluid.
The total interaction was just last night in speaking with them.
Do y'all have your own external security team during the games?
No, everything is hired out through Ector County Sheriff's Office as per the agreement with the Coliseum. I think it's just showing the community again that we've been out in the community, we've been here to help. These guys have great character. Like I said, this is not indicative of this organization whatsoever. We're in the process, I can't explain details, but we're in the process of moving to a league that this is not an issue. We won't play teams like this anymore. So yeah, just making sure we're back out in the community, gaining their trust back. The most regrettable part of this was me having to console my daughter after her seeing that stuff go down and seeing me in the middle of it, breaking it up. I mean, not to divulge too much information, I won't answer any questions outside of it, but I received a blow to the head. And I regret that for my own daughter. I regret that for every child that was in attendance last night. There's no reason that they should ever have to see something like that when they come to a game to have fun. So that's part of our apology to the Permian Basin, is that's not something we ever want to see, nor is it something that we ever condone.
The kids that were around after the game, I did get them together and tell them that this is not something that is to be looked upon as cool or anything else, that this should never ever happen in a ball game, and they should not take this forward into their football that they do, that this should never happen. They should do everything they can when they play to play at a level that, you know, above getting in fights with people and things like that. So that's not to be looked upon as wow, look at what happened, this is cool. No, that doesn't. We put that down immediately last night with the kids that were around the field afterwards. So again, with the investigation with Ector County Coliseum and the Sheriff's Department, we will be identifying where there are gaps, where the three groups can all work together better to make sure that nothing like this ever happens, whether it's this or other things that may be emergencies that may come up. Identify any gaps in our emergency and crisis management plans that exist, not just for this.
Did anyone go to the hospital?
No, sir. No arrests made, no hospitals, nothing like that. So.
What about concessions? You got the concessions, y'all, there's beer selling during the game, right? So did that have any part? We can't comment on concessions. That's not we have zero say over concessions. I'm good.
Just in closing, the last thing I want to, again, is apologize to our fans, our community, our sponsors, especially our sponsors. This is not the image, that needs to be portrayed. As you can tell, the organization stands together. So again, we are truly sorry, and hope you stick with us.
We look forward to a great year next year.
It is believed that the issues began with questionable calls by the referees and unsportsmanlike conduct by the Dallas Prime football team. For DRB Media Communications Digital News, Danny Barrera.
Thank you for following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also at DRB Media Communications Digital News.tv. For DRB Media Communications Digital News, Viridiana Marquez.